Greetings, listeners, and welcome as we begin Season 3 of the Wednesday Night Crew. In this session, we are playing a cozy little Lovecraftian murder mystery game called Brindlewood Bay. In this game, you play as an elderly woman that is part of a murder mystery book club called the Murder Mavens. Imagine Murder, She Wrote with a Cthulhu twist. Wait until you hear the gang play as old ladies with cozy hobbies. We hope you enjoy this as much as we are. Let's jump right in.
Wednesday Night Crew back in action, almost a full crew, so that's pretty sweet. Welcome back to the fray, Emily. Starting it out easy with Brindlewood Bay for you to sort of ease back in before you go back to your Ep.1 character.
I saw the old ladies and I was like, I could do that.
And you're like, yeah, that's it. That's I can manage that. So we are going to start the new year out by playing a game called Brindlewood Bay, a dark and cozy mystery game by Jason Cordova. This game is pretty badass and reads badass. I'm excited. It's different. And I can't wait to hear more about all of you murder mavens. And a little bit about their background. And then we'll talk a little bit about just some of the basics of how to play the game. Make sure you guys are cool with your character sheets as they are with the information you have on there. And then we can jump right in. All right. Brindlewood Bay is a cozy mystery game. You are all part of a group of a book club called the Murder Mavens. And you hang out, you meet up in different places in Brindlewood Bay. You pick a book, you read the book, and 9 times out of 10, so the majority of the books you read at the top floor of the Candlelight Booksellers, the majority of the books that you read and talk about are all from the Gold Crown Mysteries series, and with the globetrotting super sleuth Amanda Delacourt. And all of you in some way wish you could be an aspect of Amanda Delacourt, and which is why you take your mystery hunting so seriously. You guys have been together for a little bit of time as a group, so you've already become somewhat familiar with each other to some degree. Some of you may be a little bit more engaged in each other's personal lives than others. Depends kind of on how your personalities are and how you interact in that regard. So you're all elderly women whose partners have passed away, except for Dr. Wilson. As we are led to believe that Dr. Wilson's husband is still alive. So we'll get more into that shortly. And then you're all enjoying your golden years in this town of Brindlewood Bay. Keep your homes the way you like and pursue the hobbies that you want to pursue. So, and then you find this comfort and companionship in each other, hanging out, solving mysteries. It's like an AARP Scooby-Doo without a dog and all women. So it's totally the same thing. But on that note, why don't we do a little round the room introduction? And what I'd really like is for you to tell me your character's name, your background. I believe I asked those questions early on. We'd like to kind of share them all for everybody to hear. So talk about your background. Who were you married to? A story from your married life. Maybe how your spouse died, if you're comfortable talking about it. And then your cozy little place. And I'd like to also know what your cozy activity is as well. So we can start with, why don't we start with Sean? Why don't we start with you?
Before I get started, could you remind me? I didn't think we were picking cozy activities quite yet. Was that true? You told us to wait?
May have been activities.
Oh, yeah. So fair. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. So that's a good point. Because I just wanted to make sure nobody picked the same ones.
Got it.
Because the main thing is that you don't have the same cozy activity or the same Maven move as far as at the beginning of the game with the Maven move. So let's do the rest. How about your background
Okay.
and all the other stuff?
Bonjour, mon amis. I am Yvonne Parot. Perhaps you have heard of my older brother. He's a famous detective, which has gotten me interested in detective work and why I love our murder mysteries so much, both the book club and the solving that we do. I've been living in Brindlewood Bay for, oh my gosh, is it really 60 years now? I cannot believe it. But you still see me as an outsider. Why is that? Is it because of my accent? I do not know. But anyway, I love the library we have here in town. It is so enjoyable for me to find books to read, as well as to keep my eyes on all the denizens of this town as I look and see what they are doing and insert myself into their lives, the most inappropriate problems. You asked me to talk about my husband who is dead, but I don't know if he is quite dead yet. Certainly his boat went missing all those many years ago, and his body has never been recovered, but that does not mean he is dead. No, perhaps he's still around somewhere and he will come back to me one day. But until then, I will continue to wear black and mourn my husband, but I will not take his name. I will keep the name of my famous brother, Paulo.
Okay. Well, Yvonne, it is a pleasure. It's truly a pleasure to meet you. So I think you did have your cozy place called out though, right? I believe.
Yes, it is the library. Yes, you know of this, the biblioteca.
I think in your.
I put it in the library. Yes, the library is a cozy place.
Yeah,
It's very
you
cozy.
have in the at your cozy place is the library, right?
Yes, I believe I mentioned that
Your
multiple
audio
times
is
now.
gone.
My audio is gone. Oh no. Have I not mentioned the library? Can you not hear me anymore?
I can hear you.
I can
Maybe
hear
my
you.
audio is gone. Hold on.
I heard
Oh,
I will continue to talk about the library if you wish.
you.
I love the library.
there we go. There we go.
Yes,
was like,
everyone knows about my cozy place, the library, Senior Bill.
thank you.
Monsieur
Thank you.
Bill, I should say.
Thank you.
I
Sorry.
get my accents confused sometimes. Oh,
Indeed, I get my desktop controls mixed up sometimes. I can totally understand.
As I have grown older, the little gray cells, they don't work as well as they used to.
Indeed, I can relate. So, Emily, I'd like to know who you are.
Well, I am Esther Horn. I'm the youngest of 12. My parents just couldn't help themselves from having so many kids. Um, I met my husband while I was at college. I didn't quite finish that, but that's okay. And Tom, I miss him still. So he was so handsome and so sweet. He taught high school English and he just loved the kids. It's just so good with them. We used to just spend our evenings reading and talking about I didn't read so many mystery novels with him. They were more westerns and that kind of thing, but we had a good time. We took a trip because he was from England, you see. We took a trip overseas. Oh man, was that 10 years ago now? And his brother had this beautiful mansion that apparently has been gone down through the family, and he had a heart attack there. I was devastated. I think I couldn't find the proof, but I don't think it was an accident. But fortunately, I had to just go home and accept the way the things are. And but I've really grown to enjoy my retirement years. It's been nice. He would want me to keep going on and enjoy it.
Nice. Um, So, do you have a cozy little place, like something that
Oh, the tea shop down the road. Oh, it's just the
nice,
coziest place on the block.
nice, nice.
Oh, the
Um,
yeah.
very cool, very cool. So as you after you so we've met Yvonne, we've met Esther. If you could both take a look at what you would want your cozy activity and Maven move to be, we can real quick circle back through those. Figure we do the intros first, and then we'll square away the cozy activity and Maven move, and then we'll get into the mystery. So I would really, Chris, I would really like to know who you are playing.
Well, sure. My name is Birdie O'Malley. I don't know why I went Southern all of a sudden, but
That's great.
I'm not Southern. Birdie O'Malley. Okay. My husband, Shane O'Malley, he was a representative of a fine state here. He's a representative. Eventually, with the previous administration, he was you know, the liaison for his home country of Ireland. So he was on a plane there, and his plane going back to the old home country. It went down. All aboard were lost. It was very sad. Flags were flown at half mast. It was a very beautiful ceremony from the country, but it's sad. But it happens, and here I am now, just living life. I think as he would have wanted it. He would have. We always loved coming up here to Brindlewood Bay, and I thought, well, I'm retired. He's gone. This is the time to do it. So I decided to move up here, and here we are. Here I am. You know, it is what it is, as the young people say. I love the art museum. That has to be, they have the cutest little art museum here. You wouldn't think they have as much famous art as they would in such a small town, but yet there it is. And I just love to just sit there and enjoy the art, just like Shane would have wanted. And you know, that's what I like.
That's nice. Just out of curiosity, you know, I haven't I myself haven't been to the art museum in quite some time. I heard they've been featuring pretty frequently of on a fairly routine basis a pretty famous artist. Do you recall the name of that famous artist?
Oh, I think. Oh, I believe it is Liechtenstein. No, they have so many of those comic things. I don't get them. They're not for me. But that's what the people like, apparently.
That's that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm
that
I'm
doesn't
I'm more of a classics type. That's less modern, more of
yeah.
Renaissance.
Okay. Okay. I think that's very I think that's much more respectable. I think newer art it tends to be much more polarizing. Um it's nice to meet you, Birdie. John, how about you? Who are you playing?
I'm Phyllis Englewood, lifelong resident. I was married to Tom Englewood. I believe it's a different Tom than Esther's Tom, but she's kind
Let's
of
hope so.
about talking about.
Common name.
He worked down at the canning factory, and tragically lost his life there 15 years ago when there was an incident, left four dead and three others maimed for life, and they never fully accepted responsibility for it. But the lawsuit has kept me comfortable enough to enjoy my nondescript hobby up in my eldest daughter's room, which is a nondescript hobby to be discovered later. With all the hobby things in that room, from one thing to make craft item one to another thing that goes into craft item two.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I
And
like it.
Tom and I, we used to go out on his little sailing boat on the weekends, and I always got seasick, and he'd rather be out fishing, but he'd let us spend time together, and that's what really mattered.
Nice. Nice. That sounds sweet. Um, it seems like I think it's very possible that we will not get the opportunity to meet Blanche. We'll see. Maybe she's just running behind this session of the book club. Not sure what's keeping her, but we'll see. She may still show up. Um, Andrew, I would like to meet your character.
Why would you want to go there? Let's see how long I can keep up this voice caricature.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Jane Wilson. I have an honorary degree from Maine Community College. I asked them, what the hell is that? And they said, I asked, is that something like an honorary doctorate? And they said, yeah, it's like an honorary doctorate. So I insist people refer to me as Dr. Wilson. My ex-husband, Sherlock, was taught intro to civil engineering at Maine Community College. And he was always jealous of me and my success. I got my honorary degree for my life's work, which is as an author. I've written things you've probably heard of, like You and Your Cat, One Cat, Two Cat, Red Cat, Blue Cat, Cat Breeding for Fun and Profit, and Cats, and More Cats. So he always said that the only reason I got the degree is because he's on the faculty there and they convinced them to grant one to me. But I know he's just jealous of my success. Not very civil of him, and we eventually called it quits. And I don't hear from him except when he wants more alimony. And since I've signed a new contract, a book deal for Never Enough Cats, I expect to hear from him again.
Never enough cats. Great. I imagine it would be interesting to get the opportunity to meet Sherlock. I didn't catch what was maybe you didn't mention what was your cozy place?
Oh, right. Well, as a writer, I have a flower shed out back, which I don't need for flowers. I have a gardener for that. And that's where I do my writing. I've heard it's best to isolate yourself from the world and just sit down and force yourself to write. Also, part B. The cats have knocked all kinds of shit off my shelves and broken them. So on weekends, I also go to the antique shops to find more trinkets.
Got it. So would you say then that would antiques be your cozy activity?
Since that's on one of the options, let's say yes. I had intended that I can't have her be a recluse and just like write all day and not interact with people.
Right.
So yes, she antiques because those cats do murder on all my tchotchkes.
I find the feline to be dirty animals.
I'm taken aback.
Listen. The dander, the box of feces in the house, the licking of themselves. It's terrible.
Our children, Lucy and Lou, also believed they were filthy animals. They were allergic, you see, and so I had to send them off to boarding school. I don't know if they've forgiven me.
To be fair, children are dirty animals as well, and they should also be disposed of like cats. So I praise you on your solution to at least one of your problems.
Wow. So I'm gonna give I was initially just going to give Dr. Wilson this, but I think after that, I'm going to also give it to Yvonne. I'm going to give each of you a die of a single six-sided die of inspiration. So at any point when you roll for a move or to use an ability, one of those rolls you'll be able to use this inspiration die and take the best two for your result.
I did
Okay.
not realize we would need dice for this game, but I appreciate it.
It's only 2 6 sides, so
Very well.
yeah, it shouldn't be super roll heavy. Okay, so we've established that. So let's see. So then, Yvonne, do you know what your cozy activity is?
I would say scrapbooking.
Okay, perfect. Bertie, what about you? What's your cozy activity?
Well, being the wife of of a politician, I'm into the charity events, and even after the death of
Oh,
my
okay.
beloved Shane, I still do the charity events, and that's what I like to do, raise money here and there, especially for the art museum, sometimes for the library, sometimes, just for the dog shelter. Not that I think anybody should have animals in your house, going back to that conversation, but
Great,
it
great,
looks good.
great.
I
Yeah.
I support Mademoiselle O'Malley's work for the library, especially, but also her work in making sure that dogs are filthy animals that should not be in one's home.
Turns out you say, they should be all kill shelters, not the thing to say.
No, I did not say that. Just no dogs.
Just a
in
little
homes.
advice, Yvonne. That's all I'm saying.
No dogs in homes. Just keep funneling the money to the library. It is well appreciated.
Um,
Oh, I see the dog now in the background. Filthy animal. Phyllis.
Phyllis, what is your cozy activity? And if you don't, and John, I'm speaking to you.
Phyllis.
Yeah,
Phyllis' cozy activity is I believe it was knitting.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
So
Got it.
that's what those craft supplies are. They're knitting needles and yarn.
Okay. And Esther, if you're there, what's your cozy activity?
I love baking. Got a little bit of a sweet
Oh,
tooth.
perfect. Oh, you know what? It's so funny that you should mention that. That's fantastic. That's going to fit
I
in
was
so
gonna do
well.
that before I saw
That's
this.
that's going to fit in so well. So which we'll get to that in a moment. And then real quick, let's just go around. So all of you should have picked a single Maven move. There was 2 pages of Maven moves to look through, and you could pick one. I just would like to know the name of the Maven move that you picked, so that we don't have 2 of the same. So Esther, why don't we just pick back up? What's your
Wait, where
yeah.
are those? Were those on Discord?
There should be, yeah, it should have been a set that I gave you, that I uploaded there.
Okay.
Should be.
Okay, yep, I see it now. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. No, you're fine. You're
Make
good.
me go last.
You're good. Not a problem. Esther, did you pick a Maven move by chance? And you're on mute if you're there.
Oh, there we go. There's so many. I think I'm
I
gonna
know.
go with the CAD fail. CAD fail. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's a good sign.
Oh, okay, I see it. All right.
CAD
Ooh,
file.
wow.
CAD file.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that means you have an additional cozy activity of herbalism.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. Okay. All right. So that would be Esther.
Got some extra
cat
spices in
fail.
my cookies.
Nice. Phyllis, what about you? What is your Maven move?
I kind of like the sound of the Jim Rockford.
Okay.
That's the answering machine.
Keeper will narrate an answering machine message you received. Son of a bitch. Okay. Thanks for that. Always the same. Oh, God. My glasses. Let's see. Ask you to do some particular tasks. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. Jim Rockford is you. Understood. I will have to I'll have to fit that in the mix here. I can flex that. That was Esther, and that was Phyllis. Birdie, what's your Maven move?
We're gonna go with Sonny Crockett. I have a very stylish wardrobe. People say "wow" when they see me around
Oh,
town.
I love that.
So I
I
mean,
love that.
just going with the style. I kind of have like a Jackie O style. So I'm gonna say like
Okay.
Birdie definitely has like I think like red sunglasses on all the time, but they're like designer, fancy. They're always different, but always like blinged out.
Like the
And
big, like the big wide rim ones, like and
yeah,
stuff
they
like
could
that
be,
that are kind of
yeah,
like
and they're like,
gauche
sometimes the
sometimes.
cat's eye glasses or just really
Okay.
big or round or just
Sweet.
always an unusual but stylish
Yeah.
glasses would be, like her signature style there. And they're
I
always going to
love
be like
that.
they're always like a red tint to them, like as if they're sunglasses, thus Jackie O style.
I love that. Dr. Wilson, what is your Maven move?
It has to be Jordan. Gordon, Gordon some way. I have a feline friend. His name is Pumpkin Spice. He's an orange tabby with whom I share a strong bond. So the rest of it, this extraordinary kitty can do tricks and follow simple commands. Name your precocious puss and add them to your cozy little place. No thanks. Pumpkin Spice has been banned from several antique shops, so he's
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Yvonne, we saved you for last. What's your Maven move?
But of course, Hercule Poirot.
Wait, what?
Hercule Poirot. My reason is increased by 1.
All right.
It is
I'm
named
looking for
after
it.
my brother. It's on the alternative Mavens.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hercule Poirot.
So do you have like a big mustache, but the only way we know you're the sister is that you have like a big bow in your hair?
No.
Mhm.
It's like a
I'm
Pac-Man.
quite
deal.
feminine. I'm quite feminine. No mustache.
You buy the other kind of mustache wax, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. I got you. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about a few of just a little bit of the playing style. Just to kind of get you guys all in the groove. This is going to play very similar to Monster of the Week in its design. The moves are going to be different. There's some really cool functions and features that as we progress through the mystery, things will pop up, and that'll make it much different from Monster of the Week. So I think just to kind of get the mindset right, I think it's important to mention a few things. So, your cozy little place. So if your cozy little place relates or your cozy activity can relate to the scenario in which we are in. So let's say let's see here. So like Yvonne is scrapbooking. So if like, oh, you're in a craft store for some reason, and you can just leverage an instant connection to it. But in order to still utilize your cozy activity, even if it's not in the right scenario, you can also be creative with it. And like, if you can think about something that your character would have done with that activity back at their cozy little place or whatever, you can bring it up at some point and still utilize that as your like, I think it's called your cozy move or something, because there's like the sheet there's a sheet that has your moves on it, like your move sets, your reference. That's what it's called, is a reference sheet. It's got a day move, night move, cozy move, gold crown mysteries move. So those are all the types of moves you can have, similar to what was in Monster of the Week. but these are all general for everybody. And your Maven move is your individual specialized move, if that makes sense. So, like the cozy move, don't feel that you can. It's a great way to to clear a condition, because you'll get conditions as we progress, and you can also stumble on a clue to the mystery, and then you tell me what that clue is that you found. So yeah, so just kind of as we're going, read through your moves, and as we progress, you'll get more familiar with them. Um, and if we play a couple sessions of this at like different adventures, you'll get even more comfortable, just like with Monster of the Week. Um, Abilities, it rolls 2d6 just like that game does. Same system. And then your abilities, you should have the all should have the same numbers grade in as your starting point, but then you get to add one to a single ability, and that's like your modifier as your starting point. There's a spot for XP as you advance. As we get to the end of a mystery, you'll check boxes and you will gain XP, and that XP will enable you to do things to level up your character through extra Maven moves or modifiers to your abilities.
Bill,
Okay.
if I'm reading the character sheet right, we can add one to a single ability at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
Could you, I think I sort of understand, but maybe could you just give us like a quick overview of what those abilities actually mean?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine. It's okay. That's an easy book find. Here we go. Abilities. So vitality, just going left to right, is what it looks like they've got it set up in the book. Use vitality if the Maven's action involves strength, dexterity, endurance, athleticism, or raw physicality. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Composure if the Maven's action requires a steady hand, a calm disposition, or intense concentration, or if they are trying to avoid a fear-based reaction. Reason if you're studying books, researching a problem, examining a crime scene, or otherwise engaging their mental faculty. Presence if you're trying to charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture someone's imagination. Sensitivity is if it involves the occult or supernatural forces. And keeper's discretion if you go to use one ability, but in a situation, but the situation more is relevant in the occult or supernatural aspect, then I reserve the right to switch it to sensitivity from another ability. And there you go. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
All right, everybody all good? Any questions, comments, concerns before we start playing? I think we got everything. I got everything I need to get things going. All right, so just get my little document lined up the right way here, so I'm happy with it. So I can see all your faces on the other side. There we go. Cool. Okay. All right. So, welcome all to the great Brindlewood Bay Bake Off. That's a tongue twister. So, if we talk about our six murder mavens, we already know that Esther. So Esther loves to bake. So it's natural for Esther to be in the Bake Off. But let's talk about, out of the rest of you, there should definitely be, not all of you have to be in the Bake Off, but out of the rest of you, who would be the most interested in trying their hand at competing in the Bake Off? Phyllis, what about you?
Oh, Phyllis is there, but she has a little stand into selling pot holders that she crocheted out of it.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so in that case, we'll say that you are for this, we're gonna say that you're like, you were selling them outside, but then your attention will then shift to inside when they start to film the competition, because uh, you want to support your mavens that have decided to participate in the Bake Off.
Oh, of course.
So,
I,
Bert,
I,
yeah,
I
Yvonne?
am Yvonne. I have brought the most perfect croissants to the Bake Off.
Nice.
They are all precisely the same shape. They are all precisely the same curve. They are flaky. They are buttery. And the secret is that Yvonne bought them outside of town because she doesn't have time or the inclination to cook. But she has she is passing off these perfect croissants.
The best part is that I'm just asking who's participating. I didn't even get into the details of what the Bake Off's actually going to be.
I'm sorry.
But you're all in.
I am in.
You're all in. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. The camera crew appreciates that you brought croissants. Because this is to give a little context. Croissant. To give a little context for this, I think it's important to call out the fact that the Jolly Good Baking Show, and we'll get to the rest of the characters here in a moment of who's participating. It's a beloved culinary competition that has been around for well over a decade and has become a cherished tradition in the picturesque seaside town of Brindlewood Bay. Each year, bakers from all walks of life and corners of the country, home cooks, aspiring pastry chefs, and even a few eccentric hobbyists gather under the glimmering lights in the specially designed kitchens set up outside the public access studios to showcase their sweetest creations. So those of you that are participating in this baking show have been on it before. It just has not been televised outside of the local public access. And so now this is the big finale competition, which has brought in the Jolly Good Baking Show. Basically, the entire show is coming to host and run this finale competition for Brindlewood Bay. So we know for sure that Yvonne is taking part. So is Esther. Is Dr. Wilson?
Dr. Wilson is not. She's just just there to watch. The Jolly Good Baking Show is one of her favorite shows on the public broadcasting system.
Yes, and you are very impressed with how much more elevated it is as they bring in the.
I want to meet the judge, the blue-eyed judge,
the heavily clouted BBC PBS station. That is, I mean, they've got full graphic wipes and everything on screen, and like presenters and the whole nine. What about Birdie? Is Birdie participating?
Well, I have my girl Consuela in the competition. She makes a wonderful flan or churro or something from wherever she's from. She's great. Although I wish I would have known that she was so great. She needs to be back home, not at the finale. But it's fine. I can go to the local bakery and get food there. But I really would love some cookies at home. But, she made it to the final. So way to go, Consuela.
All right, great. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun managing that NPC, which at work. So, wonderful. Okay, so let's see here. So thank you all. So we have what appears to be 2 participants out of the bunch of you. So that's fun. But that's also should be interesting. Let me see. There was something. What was that move called, John? Again, Jim Rockford.
Where'd my sheet go? Jim Rockford, yes.
Yeah, the answering machine. Okay. All right. So let's see. So Phyllis, remind me, what's your crochet, right?
Yes.
And what else about Phyllis and her background? Like,
husband worked at a canning warehouse facility.
Okay.
And died from an incident there. She has a little sailboat, and generally crochets in her eldest daughter's room after she moved out.
Okay. So as you're getting ready to head out with your crocheted items, and you're excited to sell them and excited to see your mavens compete in this bake off. You are headed you're finishing getting ready, so you're in the bathroom. You don't hear the phone ring, and so you end up coming back out to see, as you're on your way out the door, the answering machine blinking, and you're like, oh, that's bizarre. So you press the button, um, and and you hear the traditional beep, and then, or the robot voice saying one new message, because most people in this day and age, have cell phones and don't have an answering machine, but not Phyllis. Phyllis has an answering machine. She relies on it. She did decide to go from the tape to digital, to a digital answering machine, but refuses to get rid of her landline. Does that sound feasible for Phyllis?
Goodness, yes.
Okay, perfect. So you play this, and this voice, this hopefully velvety sounding voice comes on the answering machine, and it's just like, hello. I know you don't quite know me, but I know of you, and I think you should consider uh not selling your those knit bauble things that you have. I don't think it would bode well for you long term. I appreciate if you would take my sentiment to be truth. And then the message ends.
Just point of order: were those baubles different than the pot holders that she was?
No, they're speaking specifically about your crocheted crafts.
Oh, just all of them in general. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the key cozies.
I mean, you can, if you want to see if you can kind of read more into it, you can always try to do a reason ability check if you want to see if that would help you out.
She just kind of scratches her head a little bit and shrugs and grabs the bags and heads out anyways.
All right.
With everything in there.
Like that. Phyllis, she's not scared. She's got cojones. She's ready to go. So, yeah, so you guys, so we have Esther at a baking station, and we have Yvonne at a baking station, and we have Consuela at a baking station. And I would imagine that Birdie would be a little bit invested in Consuela's success and really want to almost be a backseat baker.
Yeah. Birdie is absolutely hovering around, despite what the producers might be trying to push her out of the way, but she's right there. It's like, darling, you have to make those things, those things that I love. What are those called with the cinnamon? Those things, the cinnamon things. Just do it, Consuela. You know what I'm talking about.
Nice. And what's Consuela's reaction to that? Is she used to Birdie?
Oh, absolutely. Consuela just kind of says, yes, Miss O'Malley. Yes, Mrs. O'Malley. Yes. And she just kind of when she, when she turns her back from Birdie, she rolls her eyes to anybody who's just rolls her eyes of course, yes, of course, just going along with it.
Nice. Perfect. So there's also two other contestants. Is a Scott Lamb and a Melanie Blair. So Scott he's organized. He's a very tidy young man. Is fond of bow ties. He was a contestant on Jolly Good Baking Show 3 years ago. And you may recall, because I think if I recall, wasn't it Bertie? You were the one that said you like to watch the show, or was it Dr. Wilson?
I believe it was Dr. Wilson.
Was
Dr.
Dr.
Wilson.
Wilson.
So Dr.
I like that
Wilson,
blue-eyed fellow, Joe Broadway.
you recall that this contestant Scott Lamb ended up getting kicked off the show due to something that happened off camera that you read about, and you believe there's more to that story than what's been let out into the public eye. And then let's see.
They said he had irritable bowel disease, but I think there's something more than just the shits.
and then
they're always
Doctor,
complaining
you're so
about
vulgar.
They do complain about the bread having a soggy bottom.
Nice. And they are and then Melanie is seemingly frazzled but sensibly dressed, and it actually just a little bit comes across as frazzled is actually just a little bit intense. Many of you recognize her as she's lived in Brindlewood Bay all her life. And she actually learned baking from her parents. So Esther, you know that you know Natalie or Melanie because you used to go to her parent. You used to see her in her parents' bakery, which was the Sweet Sensations Bakery before it went out of business. So you recognize Melanie from a distance as she's frantically trying to get her area set up and ready. So the Jolly Good Baking Show is connected to one of your favorite memories. This is not for everybody. So Dr. Wilson, the Jolly Good Baking Show is connected to one of your characters, one of your favorite memories in life. What is that memory?
I think it was when during the signature round they made a special Christmas cake that my mother used to make.
Nice. That's impressive.
But it wasn't Scott Lamb who did it either.
What Yvonne, do you have is there a favorite memory that you connect to the Jolly Good Baking Show?
It was the year that a fellow Belgian won making macarons. They were delicious.
Nice. And then Esther, what about you? What is your favorite memory that's connected to this show?
Oh, I loved watching it. Oh gosh, that's terrible. Bad accent. No accent. I loved watching it with my husband, and he always used to tell me, "Oh, you could be on that show. Your pies are so delicious." And I finally took him up on that.
Nice. And when you would walk into Sweet Sensations Bakery, how would that make you feel?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, there's just the sweetest young couple there, and their daughter was so cute running around the store and helping out, and oh, good times, good memories.
What was
No.
your favorite baked good from there?
Oh, their fudge, their orange creamsicle fudge was just so delicious.
Nice. All right. Very cool. So yeah, so you guys, so those of you participating are at your stations. Among the other two contestants, Scott and Melanie, and the show presenters, Sue and Timothy, they go through their introductions for the show as you hear someone off to the side say, "All right, everybody, places, come on, let's," and they clap, so let's get it together, let's go. And you see this cute little older woman, probably in like her mid 50s, I would say, mid to late 50s. Some of you recognize her as a stand-up comedian that you've seen before. She says, well, welcome back, everyone. It's the finals episode. We've got our contestants ready and raring to go today. And then the camera starts to pan around to catch like the facial expressions of the participants. She says, Tim, how are the contestants looking? He says, hey, Sue, some are looking rather stone-faced and ready to go. And there's some nervousness too. So yeah, how is Esther? How are you feeling about this? Do you feel nervous?
Oh, not at all. This is all for fun. Don't
Great,
worry.
great,
She
great.
is just beaming and looks excited.
Sue comes up to you and she's like, oh, Esther Horn, you look so comfortable behind that table. You really look like like you're at home. Well, can I
Oh,
just give you a hug?
oh, of course. I love hugs.
And she comes up and she squeezes you really hard. And she does the thing where she's like kind of shakes back and forth like this and wobbles
Oh,
back and forth. She's like, "Oh, you're just so cute. I can't wait to taste what wonderful things you're going to make for us today."
oh my.
Um, and then she scoots away, and then Tim he kind of like walks up to you and like kind of he's glancing at your table, looking at some of your your kitchen your baking utensils that you have out on the table on your like
Okay.
benchtop area, and just and he just kind of goes and like kind of walks past, and he's like, hello.
Oh,
I've never baked anything, never ever, never.
never.
No, nope,
Well,
no.
never too late to start, my dear.
I mean, no, zero interest, actually, not even remotely interested. I'll eat it. I mean,
Well, that's
dar-
the best part.
darling, I will eat it every day, multiple times a day, but no, I will never bake it. Uh, and I'm actually hard pressed to believe that one would either. And he walks over to you, Yvonne. He says, "Oh, yes, you seem, how are you excited for today?
But of course, very excited.
Let me guess. You're gonna put a French twist on what you make."
It'll be a Belgian twist, of course. Very similar to French, but very distinct.
I mean, I've always thought that was the same, but what do I know? I don't bake anything.
True. It
And he
a
and he's like,
misconception, not only in Brindlewood Bay, but really throughout this country, that Belgium and France are the same, but they're very different.
and he's like, okay then, and he just like kind of walks away, like he's very like socially awkward. Um, and then Sue comes up to Consuela. She's like, "Oh, aren't you lovely? Look at you go. You look just so ready to go. But who's this hovering? You're not in the show." And she looks at you, Bertie.
Yes, well, I'm sort of a translator for Consuela here. She doesn't speak much English, and Consuela like rolls her eyes again. Like
It's
the
just like
camera catches that reaction, like
you freaking racist.
basically, yes.
That's awesome.
So I'm
Okay.
basically her translator here to help out with those situations, help with the measurement. Her country might do the metric system. I'm not sure, but I help with that too.
Nice. That's great. Uh, so, and then, let's see, I think that's everybody that's participating. Um, so then Sue, you see the camera come over by where Sue is as she turns away from you, Bertie, and faces the camera and says, well then, let's get into the first part of the competition today, pies. Um, and then comes over, she turns around and looks at Consuela, and then she sighs and she looks at you, Bertie, and goes, all right then, translator. What's she making for us? What sort of pie is she making for us for round one today?
And she, Birdie just like turns to Consuela. What pie are you making?
Oh my God. What does Consuela say?
She's making a quince pie, actually, which is something unusual. But
Okay. Mm-hmm.
a quince, is that even a thing? What I don't under. She's making some pie. I don't know. A fruit. Is it a fruit? Some type of fruit, apparently.
Oh, did she say quince pie?
Something like that. Is that 15? 15?
Oh,
You're making 15 pies?
I do love a good quince pie. That's so exciting. Esther, and she like kind of like waves her hand as she like eagerly like bounces and walks over to you, Esther. What sort of pie are you making today?
Oh, I am making a good old classic American apple pie with my, secret twist on it.
Oh,
Very sweet.
oh, oh! I can't wait. It's not it's a safe secret though, right? It's not anything too crazy.
Oh, no, 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 no. You'll love it.
I mean, no, we are from the BBC network. I mean, we are pretty. We're not too wild over here on this show. I mean, we a lot more crying and hugging than probably anything else. Well, great. I look forward to us having the opportunity to try and you, Miss Prim and Proper, Yvonne, is it? Yes. What sort of pie are you making?
Yes. You have heard, of course, of the French silk pie. You are aware of this pie?
I think yes. I think so.
Yes. It is garbage. I make the Belgians. I make the Belgian silk pie. Belgian silk pie. That is what we'll be having today.
Ah, okay. What sort of flavor is that?
It's chocolate. It is exactly like the French silk pie, except made by myself, Yvonne Parot, a Belgian, and
Which
it
is
is a Belgian silk pie.
which is far superior.
Far
Um,
superior.
and then yeah, so all of you talked about your pies. So now, okay, so I'm gonna pick let's see, it's gonna have to be one of the non-participants is gonna have to go twice for those. Well, no, I think I can make it work. Okay, so let's start with Consuela's pie. So Consuela makes uh this quince pie, and Phyllis, I would like you to tell me whether Consuela's pie is a triumph or rather disappointing. Is Consuela's pie a triumph or rather disappointing?
Is that
And
John
why?
Phyllis?
That's John. Yeah.
Oh, it is a triumph.
Okay. All right. What about it makes it a triumph? What's the detail on what made it so beautifully executed?
It is the golden crust that she was
Okay.
able to obtain.
Okay. And Bertie, you see that Consuela truly has made a triumph of a pie, and you see this golden crust, and there's one other thing about it that's just amazing. And what would that be?
Another thing about the pie that's amazing.
Yeah, another attribute of it. Yeah.
She puts this honey in it, and she doesn't even tell me where the honey has come from. I've never tasted this honey before. It is amazing. It is just so, it's sweet and smooth, and I don't know what flower it comes from, where the beekeeper is. It's just so good though, the honey that she put in
Nice.
there.
Nice. And then Dr. Wilson is Yvonne's pie a triumph or rather disappointing?
I'm sorry, but pumpkin spice jumped onto the pie and started eating it. So I know that it's very good. But unfortunately, she has been disqualified.
As I say, the dirty feline.
The cat shouldn't be eating the chocolates. Oh, come on.
I thought this was a closed studio.
Pumpkin
So-
spice, he knows you like him. He can tell. That's why he's drawn to you.
So So the cat got into your pie.
So that's my Maven move.
So it is unsuccessful. Unfortunately, Yvonne, your pie is rather disappointing. And but
And
let's
Spice thought it was good.
But I'd like to elaborate though a little more on the fact that like you didn't between the time you got the pie out and get ready to present it and then go to take it over, you don't notice that the cat got into it and pretty much just sort of like really kind of messed with the top of it, mess with the cream, the pudding part of it until it's too late. Like you're just focused, you're so focused on presenting this because it's good. You're very confident, right? You're overly confident. That Belgian silk pies are far superior to French silk, and that's what you're presenting. This recipe like the back of your hand. So you go to pull this out, and you don't realize that it's unpresentable until it's far too late. So as you put it before the judges, you see that it's the two judges, the historical judges of the show, a Jane Leaf, who is sweetly judgmental, elderly, posh, beloved celebrity in the UK with dozens of cookery books and hundreds of television appearances over a 60-year career, as well as where's that other guy?
Joe Broadway, old Blue Eyes.
No, it's not Joe Broadway.
I was hoping for a Joe Broadway handshake. So
Paul Riviera.
Bring him back.
Paul Riviera.
Paul Riviera. And Paul Riviera.
It's nothing as silly as Joe Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's
nothing like Paul Hollywood.
And Paul Riviera is a dick. He's the old Simon Cowell or Gordon Ramsay of this Bake Off show as far as judges go. And you put it in front of the two of them, and Sue happens to be sitting next to them as an extra participant. And Sue's like, "Oh well, this looks rather interesting." And Jane's like, "Oh dear. Well, don't fret. It's it looks as though you did try, but this looks a bit informal."
I did. It was more than try. It was a beautiful cake. It is so sad that the dirty creature has ruined it.
Well, and then before she can get another word out, Paul goes, "Well, see, that's part of your problem. It's in the cake. It's supposed to be a pie. It's supposed to make a pie. It looks like a pile of mud in a pie pan."
I made the pie. The pie was beautiful.
Kind of nonsense.
I do not know who the producers here who are supposed to be watching the set and keep things under control, but again, this would not have happened elsewhere.
I mean, not really impressed. He's like sticks a fork in it and like kind of like wiggles it around, pulls it out, and he's just like, and he licks it and he's like, ugh, too sweet.
There is no such thing.
You've yeah, I don't know. I don't. You don't stand much of a chance, and so then like you walk away, just sort of more annoyed than like feeling defeated.
Yeah, I know I did well.
Yeah. Now, Esther, because baking is your cozy activity. Your apple pie is automatically a triumph, and I would like you to tell me tell me one thing about it that is a triumph that you see as you pull it out.
Oh, only one thing? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yep.
So I would say that the crust just looks perfect. It looks flaky, but still golden brown. And I think that's exactly what John said too. We both love pie crust. Um, and the smell of the cinnamon is astounding.
Okay. Um, what's another triumph about this apple pie, Yvonne? What's another magnificent triumph about Esther's pie?
Well, another triumph of the pie is that the apples somehow are both moist and crisp at the conclusion of it. They didn't turn to mush.
Nice, nice. Is there, Yvonne, is there anything else that you notice about the pie that makes it a triumph?
It does not have cat footprints in it.
So Esther, you put this in front of the judges, and Jane takes a small piece under her plate. She takes a fork and she eats a bite of it. She's like, "Oh, oh my goodness, it's quite lovely. I'm rather impressed with you." Um, and and then Paul Riviera try- tries a piece, tries a piece of it, and he's like, and you see him like he's like rolling his eyes, and he's like making that noise as he's eating it, like chewing longer than he needs to, and he just goes, like, well, I mean, it's way better than that mud pie that was here before. I would say light years ahead, and you're going to be hard to beat. I mean, I'm hard pressed to find anything wrong with this pie here.
Thank you. That's
And
because there
yeah.
isn't anything wrong.
And Sue goes, "Oh, this pies is so delicious." And she's like, "I need to give you another hug." And she comes up and she gives you another hug. And she's like, and she whispers, "You did so good."
Oh. Esther, happily hugs her back.
And then you see the other two participants. They present theirs. So let's see here. Uh, Scott Lamb presents his. Birdie, is Scott's pie a triumph or rather disappointing?
What kind of pie did Scott make?
I don't know. Esther, what kind of pie did Scott make?
He made a lemon meringue pie.
Ooh, fancy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he dropped the ball on this lemon meringue pie. The meringue, there is like no rise to it whatsoever. It basically
Ooh.
collapsed on the pie. It is a sad white. I don't want to even describe what it reminds me of, but I think we can all, have the idea of what it looks like. I'm not going there. I'm not going to be, but it looks like that. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's a failure. I'm sorry. Sorry to say.
The meringue, it's so tricky to get right.
I don't.
Clearly Scott beat it not long enough, or he beat it too much.
I would say that sounds.
We're
That I
getting
don't
the
know.
explicit the
Yeah,
explicit tag for this week.
I don't know that we can. I don't know that we could describe that it to be any worse, any bigger of a failure than that. I don't know that there's anything to add to that. So he walks it up to the judge's table, and um and he's like, "Well, here it is. Here you go." God, I hate pies. Make this stupid. He's like muttering to himself, and the one judge, Jane, she's like, "Oh, oh, Scott, dear, you never really could make a decent meringue. This is rather poor showing." and its consistency is rather inconsistent and sort of snotty. And and Paul Riviera goes, I'm not even gonna put that in my mouth. That's nasty. I want nothing to do with it. It's gross. And and Scott just takes his pie and stomps off just in a huff. And as he walks, and Esther, as he walks by your bench to go to his bench, he just kind of gives you a side eye, and he's like you're not that good.
Oh, how rude. I'll show
Yeah,
you that I am.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be out of this one way or the other. Trust me. And he just kind of storms off. And then last but certainly not least, we have our professional like Melanie, who has just put together this glorious looking pie. Phyllis, what is Melanie's pie that she created? You're muted, I think.
Oh, sorry.
There you are.
There we go. It is a chocolate mousse.
Ooh.
Some might say a French silk.
Is it? Tell me it's a French silk. Please tell me it's a French silk.
French silk, yes.
So, so she brings this out, and she's like one hand's like this, like wringing her collar, you know.
Well, that pie is just the same as yours, Yvonne.
and so Jane tries it. She's like, well, there we go. A true French silk pie. How glorious this is. I don't know what that other thing was, but this is far better. Paul, you really must try this. And he's like, all right. He's like, oh, bloody. And he's like talking with his mouth full. Bloody hell, this is way better than whatever Yvonne tried to put in front of our face. That was awful. This is fantastic. And Melanie's like, oh, thank you. And walks back to her bench, super excited. And she looks at over at Consuela, and just kind of like, it just says, oh, your pie looks beautiful. And then we said that Consuela's was good, right? Didn't we say that? Did we talk about her pie?
Yes, we said it was a win. Dr. Wilson said it was a win.
Yes. And so she goes, so Consuela's going to present this. Do you go with her?
Oh, you absolutely.
So she's walking with the pie. You're walking next to her. She sets the pie down, and Jane looks at it. She's like,
I'm like, you should have used that plate.
She's like, well, I think, this is quite lovely. Even the plate. Who are you exactly? Why are you up here?
I'm her translator. She's my girl. She works for me. She should be back home.
And she looks at Consuela and she's like, Consuela, do you speak English? Yes.
See. See, I speak English. Yes.
So then you don't. Do you need this person here next to you for translation?
Mrs. O'Malley, she is my boss. She says she needs to be here. I listened to Mrs. O'Malley. She says, yes, she translates. She helps me with the measurements, darling. The measurements. Yes, she helps me in the kitchen with the, because you don't read very well. She doesn't read very well. That's what I'm translating. I don't know did I not explain that I was a translator?
So as they both try her pie, and they're both very happy with it. And Jane says, "Well, I can't wait. I cannot wait to try what you do for us in round two." And
Round dose. Thumbs up.
um and and then, like, as you're having that interaction, we cut back briefly to Melanie, where we see her having like an on camera like confessional moment. And Yvonne, and we're going to say Yvonne and Dr. Wilson, you both hear it because you're closest. To hear Melanie talk. She said, "Well, yes, yes, it's true. My parents' bakery did go out of business when Paul's bakery chain opened a location in Brindlewood Bay, but I won't hold that against him. I love the Jolly Good Baking Show, and I'm just so honored to be here." Paul being Paul Riviera, who has opened up one of his chain bakeries in the glorious Brindlewood Bay area. Um, so so it goes back to Sue, and she's like, "Well, that was a great first round, and we'll be back. We're gonna take a brief break, and then and take a commercial, and we'll be back with round two." Um, and then like, "Okay, break time, everyone." And the cameraman drops camera. Um, and so on the commercial break, what is Bernie? What's one of the commercials during the commercial break?
It is for the local Brindlewood Bay lawyer who
I was
does.
thinking the same thing.
It's Jim Masney. He'll get your money.
Okay, all right. So it's a Jim Mazzy lawyer commercial, and then
Exactly. Yes.
and then Esther, what's the next commercial that plays after that?
I think it has to be for Paul Riviera's bakery in Brindlewood, or the chain. For this is
What's
broadcast.
what's his what's his bakery chain called?
Who?
Palmera. It's like Panera, but it's Palmera.
That's great. Yeah.
Palmera Riviera.
Paul's Patisseries.
I like that. Okay.
If you're French, you pronounce that differently, but
And is there like a special promotion or anything in this commercial going on?
they have a special cake that you can buy that was from last year's winner based off of their recipe. Not for a discount, but they're just promoting that it's
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I like that. And then last but not least, Phyllis, what's the last commercial that plays?
It's for British Airways, and they announce that or remind everyone that AARP members get a discount when they fly British Airways.
Nice. And just for the heck of it, we're gonna say the fourth commercial is an Ozempic commercial. And then we're gonna
It's
cut
always
back.
an Ozempic commercial.
and then we're going to cut back to the action, quote unquote action. But before we do that, those are the commercials that are playing. But meanwhile, we know, like, this isn't happening live. This is being recorded, right? And then so those are the commercials that are happening when this show does air. But the so you've taken a break. It's like, taken 10, whatever. So some of you are milling about, and then you hear So off the set, let's see here. Describe this. So off the set, you notice that there is a you notice that there are trailers, right? So Timothy has a trailer, Sue has a trailer, Jane has a trailer, and there is a judge's tent where the judges hang out. And let's see, some of the like the presenters and judges have sort of gone back to their trailers or whatever you assume, to relax, have a snack, whatever the case may be. And then many of you actually hear a rather shrill, blood-curdling scream.
Oh no.
And it's coming from not one of these, it's coming from a trailer, and it's coming from Paul's trailer. And what do you guys want to do?
Like, is it like
coming from inside of Paul's trailer, and a bunch of people are like,
yeah,
and getting ready to start heading. Getting ready to start heading over.
I'll follow along with the crowd towards the trailer.
So, as the crowds gather around this trailer with the screaming, does the screaming just keep continuing?
It's more of like a shrill, like a surprise scream.
Oh, so he stopped screaming, or whoever has stopped screaming by the time we get there?
Yep.
Okay, well, fun's over. Let's go back to the judge's tent.
I
will knock on the door, Paul, because, I've been watching this for years, and I feel like I know the judges.
Yeah.
Paul, are you all right in there, huh?
So.
Oh, what's it, honey?
So, as you knock, the door opens, and you see Melanie standing there, with her face in her hands, crying. And you see that Paul Riviera is lying dead in his trailer. His face is covered with flour, and his hands appear to be tied behind his back.
Oh my.
Good Lord, what could have happened here?
Clearly the man died.
And so a security guy comes in. So it's this whole thing, people are coming into the trailer.
I'm going to yell at the security man, don't touch anything. Call the police. Meanwhile, since we're on the scene, we might as well start investigating.
Someone is already calling the police, as they're trying to clear, sort of get their handle on the scene of what's going on, right?
I just hope that Captain Staggett is not on duty tonight. He always flirts with me. I just
it is because you're always raising money for the Friends of the Police Fund.
If you had blushed,
I raise money for I raise money for all kinds of people.
He's if you just had blushed, creep. I'd believe you, but as you don't, I think you enjoy his attentions.
Well, that mustache is just ridiculous. No offense, Yvonne.
You have not raised any money for the Belgian Expatriates Club recently, I noticed, Bertie.
Yes, until you get more members, Yvonne. I don't think I can write it off on taxes.
So, yeah.
If Brindlewood Bay wasn't so nasty to foreigners coming in and expatriates, they hate immigrants here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Had nothing to do with
thinks it's fine.
Foreigners. If you weren't born here, you'd always be an outsider. That's just the way it is.
Regardless,
right.
let's see what happened to this. We must know more about what happened to this Paul. This reminds me of that the Death by Chocolate by our favorite author.
Who was written about in Discord.
Is it Evan Court? Is that the name of the author?
So the author is Robin Masterson. Amanda Delacourt is the super sleuth.
This reminds me of the Delacourt mystery, Death by Chocolate. I guess it's just the cooking, but similar. But I guess it's time to pull out our Maven sleuthing abilities, ladies.
Did the scream sound like a Paul Hollywood or Paul Rivera scream?
No, it was a woman screaming.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought it was Melanie who.
Correct. That is exactly it.
Well, let's
screaming in shock and horror.
Let's talk to Melanie. Obviously, she's here at the scene, so she's the first witness, as it were. Probably the first. Our first suspect, although we all know it's never that one.
Right. So
who's the guest star this week?
I was hoping this would be more Columbo-esque, where we know it could be easier to figure out who did it.
So the sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. There's some great Ben Fold stuff in there. Love it. So Paul is being moved by a couple paramedics that are on scene. And security is trying to. There's a few random, like some of the observers of the show that were hanging out over by where Phyllis was hanging out. They're trying to get in the mix. But all of you mavens are sort of kind of in the way now, and so they're trying to shoo away some of these other people. They're kind of unsuccessful in in kind of shooing you guys away. And Bertie, what did you say was the police officer that would flirt with you?
Captain Staggett.
Captain Staggett.
Yeah.
So what's typically the captain's not usually out on the beat a lot, right? I would imagine.
I wonder if he was here though, because the TV cameras were around anyways. He knew that there was a big production in town.
That's a great call, Johan. So and then excuse my ignorance of rankings and put in police departments, but there can be a captain and a sheriff, yes? Or does it just depend on the size of the?
Probably two different jurisdictions, right?
The sheriff
is more a county level, and the captain would be the city.
Okay, perfect. So the captain, and say that captain's name one more time.
Staggett.
Captain Staggett. So around the corner comes this guy, kind of medium weight, got a little bit of dad bod action going on, comes around the corner and sort of walking at a brisk pace. And he's like, Grr.
You notice Bertie powdering her nose.
He's like, every time we try to do something fancy around here, we always end up having some problems. Every stinking time. And Miss Bertie, I probably see more of you in these kind of situations than I'd really like to. You know that, right?
Oh, I know you'd rather see me in any other situation, Captain.
Well, yeah, because you keep showing up around these moitas and whatnot. It's not looking good for you.
I am a lady about the town, and when there's something to be seen, I'm there to also be seen. It just so happens that someone had it in for this poor man. It's just a coincidence, I can tell you. I'm here with Consuela. I'm not baking. It's not my thing, but these things happen, Captain Staggett, and what can I say? Brindlewood Bay, there's something going on in this town.
Yes,
Why don't-
Captain. We have a book club every 2 weeks, and someone dies, and we always solve it. There's no coincidence about it. It's just something that happens. So I don't know why you're surprised to see.
I mean, well, since you're here,
I mean, Captain, you've appreciated our help in the past, and I'm sure you'll appreciate our help again today. Another tragedy. What can I say?
why don't you, how about you figure out who did it? Because, they they ain't gonna want to stop this show. Like they're gonna want to finish filming it.
Good. Then Joe Broadway can come back and judge.
And he's like, but he says, why don't you ladies all you might as well see what you can do to help out, but don't get yourself in as much trouble as last time, okay? Let's try to tone it down. I can't. It gets to be too much paperwork.
Captain, we're dealing with hardened criminals here. There's not much we can do. It's just a couple of lonely old senior ladies.
I mean,
We'll
there's
try
five.
to keep Esther Horn in line this time.
There's 5 of you. Where's the sixth one? Where's Blanche? Where's Blanche at? Why isn't she here?
Surely she's not a suspect.
Well, now that you mention it.
Yeah, but
where is Blanche?
Good question. Where is she?
Ain't she part of your club? Your book club thing you do
I believe she's
stuff.
spending the holidays back in the South. She's a little bit of a snow bunny, as it were. She doesn't appreciate the cold weather, and I know it's a beautiful day today, but it's too cold for Blanche, she says.
Nice.
She likes it hot and humid.
Nice.
And she's not the only one, Staggett. Wink, wink.
Staggett. Captain's like, all right, we'll thanks for your help. And O'Malley, maybe we meet for a drink later. You tell me how everything what you found out.
Oh, I'm sure I can help you, Captain, dot the I's and cross the T's.
Especially crossing the T's.
Oh, you naughty man, you.
And he like tips his fedora, like kind of turns around and sort of walks away and just shakes his head.
Don't even give me the look, girls. I'm just trying to get him off of our case so that we can investigate in peace without his meddling.
Knock it off, Bertie. You're not getting any younger. If you don't make a move on this man,
Doctor, I'm just doing this for the Mavens. I'm not interested. And Doctor, if you're interested, I'm not stopping you from moving to Captain Staggett. Oh, that's right. Your husband is not officially dead. I forget.
But he is officially divorced. So,
I know.
I agree. I've had enough man trouble for a while.
So as they pull out Paul, you see that his hands were tied behind his back with some plaited nylon cords that have like kind of bound his hands. And as you walk out, Esther, you're the first one to notice this, that you see these two guys, and one is Heath Hendricks. He's the producer of the show, and then Buck, the young cameraman, who's an incredibly attractive, straight out of a Hallmark movie, late 20s, early 30s looking guy. And you see the two of them talking very passionately back and forth. And Heath says, We cannot continue to have delays in production. We cannot afford it, and we do not have the budget. I'm no happier than anyone else right now, but we have a job to do, Buck. But with Paul gone, this show will never be the same. I'm beside myself. It's so tragic.
Whoa.
I'm not even sure I can carry on. And then you see like this woman like walks past you, Esther, and like kind of bumps you rudely
Oh,
as she comes through, and she's crying, and she's like and she goes up to Buck, and Buck's like, oh, it's okay, Don. I mean, Mrs. Riviera, it's gonna be all right.
mm.
And he gives her a hug with one arm because his other arm is still holding the camera. Donna says, I know, Buck, you sweet man, I know. I just can't believe someone would kill him. Mind you, he was always doing my head in. If anyone had a reason to sack him off, it's me, but I didn't do it. But now, if you excuse me, I need some time to myself. I need a drink. And then she goes from sad to mad, and she looks back at Heath and says, he would want the episode to be finished. Get the shit done. And walks off. So they both break, and they go to get themselves ready. And then you hear Sue say, all right, well, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, we've got 5 minutes, and then back to round 2. Okay, second round. And then
You expect us to cook in these conditions? It is a tragedy. We should stop and delay.
but the show must go on now. We've got to continue. Time is money. And you hear Heath says, you're in or you're out. We don't got time. We got to finish. You didn't even know the guy.
I stage whisper to Esther. Perhaps we should stay in the competition because it'll keep us closer to the suspects and to the clues.
That is precisely what I was thinking, Yvonne.
It is a tragedy, though, that this man has died, but perhaps we could do some good by continuing to bake some quality, delicious Belgian-centric foods and solve the mystery.
What's Belgian besides waffles?
So, as you are all, as many of you are now out of the trailer, Dr. Wilson, you actually, you start to come out of the trailer, and as you step out of it, you notice something out of the ordinary on the ground outside the door to the trailer. You think perhaps, oh, what if maybe this could be some sort of a clue or something that might help you in your investigation? What do you think you find?
It could be a clue. It's a 25-pound bag of Pillsbury bread flour.
Okay.
Which I think was used to smother the deceased, the decedent. And it's too bad we don't have somebody with Quincy Maven, because he could tell us whether he asphyxiated or had died in some other way.
Nice. All right.
So I'd like, if there's any way I could do it, I'd like to ascertain whether he.
Consuela made the quince pie.
No, there's nice. And then there's one more. And as Esther, as you go back to your bench, you happen to pass by the bench of Melanie, as well as the bench of what's his name, Paul, I believe, the other NPC competitor.
Scott.
Scott.
Was it? Oh, Scott. Yeah. Sorry. And you, Scott Lamb. That's it. You you step between their two benches and you notice something out of the ordinary under Melanie's bench. What do you see?
A ticket, a train ticket.
Interesting. Okay. Do we know where this train ticket is to? Does it say?
Looks like New York City.
To New York City.
York.
Got it.
New York City.
Got it. And then last but not least, as our cliffhanger clue to end this evening before we go into round 2 of the Brindlewood Bake Off. Birdie, Consuela stumbles upon something rather interesting, almost looking as though it's an element of sabotage somewhere at her station, looking to try to ruin round 2 for her. What is this element of sabotage that she happens to discover?
She notices. She walks over and she's like, gas, and she smells at the one of the pipes leading to the stove top has been cracked and the gas is leaking out, and and the stove itself is, it's unusable, but at the same time, there's like a collection of the hazardous gas in the area, so like it is possible that just by lighting a match or a thing there would cause quite an explosion, but the oven itself is not working either. So it's a twofold sabotage. Could be dangerous, but definitely unusable.
So you discover, so Consuela discovers this gas leak. Birdie like kind of like blows it up and makes it like super huge, like, oh, there's a gas leak, oh my gosh. And that's where we're going to stop. We're going to cut there, as everybody needs to react and figure out how to deal with the gas leak. And what is the and yeah, so we're gonna cut there. And so the next session next week we'll go into part 2, where the second round will be cakes. All the participants will be baking cakes. So you're going to find a picture of the cake on the internet that most best represents the cake that your character would make, and that's what you'll be presenting for next week.
All right.
Awesome.
And
furiously Google's Belgian cake.
Yeah, so the thing to keep in mind, which is what makes this game kind of cool, is that you guys. So the way the premise of these mysteries are is that I don't have clues or anything. I don't have things planted to solve this mystery. You guys together are going to find the things to solve the mystery. So you're going to, like we were just doing, so you'll be finding the things and all these different clues, and together in whatever combination, you will put together what the answer to the mystery is. In this
They're
case,
gonna hang an innocent man.
is who killed Paul Riviera.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then in the meanwhile, we determine whether or not we have any experiences that are connected to. Sorry, let me find the page.
The occult.
The occult, yeah, specifically the dark conspiracy.
Could you summarize before next week the clues that we have? So it looks like some sort of gas sabotage, a ticket to New York City. There's flour on Paul Hollywood, and he was tied up with ropes.
Yeah, the bag.
There's a
25-pound bag of flour.
but I don't think I don't imagine there would still be flour in the bag, or it would be open or something. Like, it just doesn't make sense if his face is all white that there's no damage to the bag, right?
Well, if when it's open because
okay.
suppose they brained him with it. It is pretty heavy.
Yes.
Is it?
And it's split open and there's flour everywhere.
It's not red herring flour, right? Like,
or it
brand wise, is it brand
flour?
It is brand wise red herring.
Yeah,
Wow.
Bob's red herring.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Jesus. Okay, I really like the train ticket to NYC, so like but it's like, it's up to, I mean, these are pretty much the characters that you're dealing with for this game, and the NPCs and whatnot. So it's really gonna be up to you guys what transpires, right? And the weirder or cooler it is, the better. So whatever you guys come up with, we'll roll with it. You're gonna have trailers to invest, all kinds of areas and things you can investigate potentially. We'll just see where you can find the time to do so. Cool.
Right on. This is good.
Cool. Thanks for playing, guys.
I had fun.
Excellent. All right, we'll see all you mavens next week.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, this one is going to be fun. Bad accents and some low-key Golden Girls archetypes mixed in with a heavy dose of murder mystery, BBC drama, and Hallmark movies. One could only wonder what has happened to Paul Riviera. I hope you stick with us as we find out the answer to this mystery on the Wednesday Night Crew. Thanks for listening, and as always, see you next week. Hello, listeners. Have you been enjoying the Wednesday Night Crew and our real play sessions of Eberron Adventures, along with our special themed one-shots, and playing other RPG systems like Outgunned, Call of Cthulhu, Basin, and Alien the Role-Playing Game? Well, if so, then maybe you should head over to patreon.com and become a patron, just like our first 3 patrons, Sean, Andrew, and John. For just $3 a month, you get your name mentioned in the podcast credits. More tiers will be added as our podcast family grows. Why don't you head over to patreon.com/The Wednesday Night Crew and sign up. You can even sign up for free if you don't want to donate. We're just happy to have you. We hope to see you there. Thanks for being a dedicated listener, and as always, see you next week.